Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today is a little bit of a different one. Today I'm bringing on Omar. He's a student of ours. He joined us in the September bootcamp, so he's been a student of ours for less than 6 months. And I just wanted to bring him on. He's a full-time trader, so he's already been profitable for some time. He lives out in Morocco, and I wanted to bring him on board for WWA students to see what kind of progress people are making, what kind of potential you can have for those people who are still finding their footing and working on the concepts, or the newer students, but also for the greater community in the Forex niche of people who are maybe come across WWA and want to know a little bit more about what we do. Just a student interview going through Omar's experience, what he's been doing pre-WWA, what he's been up to recently with WWA, how he found his experience, what kind of progress he's making with his charts and with his accounts, and what his aspirations and goals are for the coming year. So yeah, sit back, enjoy, and let's get into the video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today with Omar. He's a student of ours since the September bootcamp, and he's been thriving within the community now for some time. So I asked him, and he's very kindly decided to come on board with us today to give a bit of feedback on his experience with WWA and just share a little bit about his story. So Omar, I don't know too much about you. I know I've seen you in the Discord community. I've obviously did the bootcamp with you, and Wally and Alex have both done one-on-one mentorship calls with you, but myself, I haven't really touched base too much. So I'd like to hear, before we go into WWA and your experience with us, tell me a little bit about yourself in terms of what do you do? What is your life setup? Are you working? Are you a student? I'd just like to hear a bit more about you.
Okay, so my name is Omar. I am 25 years old. I am Moroccan. I live in Morocco. And before joining WWA, I was trading stock, like US stocks. I still do it that's my full-time job. I'm not a student anymore. That's what I do for a living. I trade stocks for 2 years. 2 years live, and then a few years before, just learning stuff and learning about psychology, about price action, about fundamental analysis, and all of this stuff. This is what I do for a living. I didn't trade Forex. I've never, I had this idea of, Forex is a scam. It's not really something that I would love to trade, because stocks, you have 2 hours, you can trade just the opening, and then, you can leave with your day. So I was trading stocks successfully, and I can consider myself successful at stock trading because I'm consistent. I've seen you through Instagram, like in March, I think March 2020. This is where I started to following you guys, and seeing this huge risk rewards and seeing the new methodology is something like I'm always hungry to learn more about this stuff, because that's my passion. Trading is my passion. I decided finally to jump on the board in September. I did the September boot camp, and man, like that was one of the best, it's not the, if not the best investments I've made for
Awesome.
myself.
So before we explore that option, the side of your experience with us, so yeah, you were trading full time before WWA in stocks.
Yeah.
And well, the first obvious question is, because you're in a different world to us, primarily we are Forex based, and I know some students do crypto, some do stocks, some do indices, some do commodities. We are primarily currency based. How did you find the transition from what we taught, which is obviously for the Forex markets, but again, whatever an institution can trade, these concepts apply to. So how did you find that transition from what we are teaching and doing in WWA with currencies and putting it to work with your pre-existing strategy with stocks?
Yeah, like it's very different, in terms of technical aspects, fundamental aspect, just the methodology and the top process that we put on, like that I put on to trade Forex, like this last month. It's very different from the stock markets, and it's I was happy with one to one risk reward ratio in stock market. I was very happy.
Yeah.
Like I can do that because consistently,
and with that one-to-one risk reward, you were still profitable and you were doing it consistently.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that goes
Like
to show
I
risk
had,
reward is not a necessity. Yeah.
yes, yes, I know. Like it's, if you have a good win to loss ratio, and then an okay risk to reward ratio, you will be profitable. It's not,
Yeah.
but that's what attracts me to know more. Obviously, after learning your stuff, it's not really just the risk to reward ratio. It's a lot of, like a lot of things that happen behind the scene. to
I mean,
learn how
I
to.
will agree and say that as traders, realistically, there's only two things we can control. Everything else is external. What the markets are doing, if it's bullish or bearish, if it hits stop loss, whatever, that's out of our control. We can only control our win rates and our risk to reward. So we
Yeah,
need to find probability setups and know through backtesting, this kind of trade will play out this many times,
exactly,
percentage wise.
exactly.
And that's
Yeah,
what a strategy is. And obviously, when you are taking a setup, you need to know before you enter what is the scope. You can't dream and say, oh, it could be a 4 month swing, but you probably shouldn't enter if you know there's only 15 pips, because realistically it's counter trend, whatever it may be. So we have to control our risk to reward, and that comes from the type of setup we take, and then obviously the win rate coming from what you've back tested. So right now,
yeah.
are you even trading with currency, or are you just primarily focused on stocks?
I'm trading live with stocks with real money, but I didn't start to trade live with the forex. I want to take my time. Like you always say, be an analyst first, and then uh, think about being a trader. Uh, the goal is, for like right now, my goal is not to make money with forex. My goal is to excel at this and learn more about this, and then like if I excel at something, the money will follow. So
I
I
agree.
don't care about money right now. So like through the months post boot camp, I'm just back testing a lot, back testing and back testing like few hours, because all it takes for me from trading stocks is only 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day at maximum. So the other the on the day I just
You have
back
time
test
to
a lot.
backtest. So this
Yeah.
is something I get a lot, and everybody says it. Oh, I spend so much time backtesting. I spend my whole weekends, my whole day, whatever it may be. How do you backtest? Like, what is your approach? Say, for example, you're going to backtest for the next 2 hours. Are you just scrolling through the charts and then seeing, okay, it was bearish, let me investigate, or do you have more of a plan? Or are you going through losses? Or are you going through
Uh,
our educator charts? What is your approach for that?
like I have I have a sort of plan. I'm not just scrolling. I take screenshots of multiple time frames, structure. I just you gave us all the tools like structure, money concepts, smart money concepts, and all of that. I'm just trying to find my way and into
Very good.
executing your
Yeah.
stuff. Like I found myself more on structure. I rely more on structure and like few smart money concepts. I'm not using schematics. I do know them. I do understand them, but like that's some preference. Like I do like to
The
feel
same for
more
me. Like
about.
I haven't taken a schematic based trade, it's Wyckoff theory based trade in maybe over a month. But price action, structure, supply and demand, smart money concepts, these are daily occurrences for every
Yes.
trade. It's a bread and butter.
When,
So
yeah,
I
so
agree with that.
when I started to backtest, I decided to backtest everything alone. Like I backtested
Concepts
structure.
per concepts. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
one concept. Yeah, I backtested structure, and I tried to understand more the multi-time frame structure, and knowing more about higher time frame and lower time frame, and then the concept of finding the best points of interest, the best order block IFCs or something like that, and then I work my way to lower time frame confirmation and how to like I when I did that I had few losses, few winners, and then I started to backtest more on the losers, what I can do better to not taking this trade, and I started to make my plan and started to learn more about this. And what helped me the most is your one-on-one calls with all the members. My one-on-three, I think my one-on-three calls with Wally helped me a lot. And then like 3 hours after, I did a one-on-one call with
Alex.
Alex, and like that was, I can say that a breakthrough to my
I'm glad to
approach,
hear that.
to my way to understand your teachings.
Yeah, so I spoke to at the end of each day when we do these one-on-one calls and small group calls, and obviously we do the community calls as well. But at the end, I kind of speak to Wally and Alex, and I said, okay, how was the calls today? How was your experience? What are students struggling with? What are they shining with? What do they need help with? We get a general consensus of where the level of the community is at and what people are struggling with, so we know how to direct our coaching, our calls, our charts, etc. And then at the end of that day, because you had two calls in the same day with Wally and Alex, they both immediately said your names, like, yeah, this Omar guy, he's been killing it. He's doing stocks, but his results recently have been really, really powerful. And so I'll let you speak about that.
Yeah,
How's
yeah,
trading
because
been for you recently, and what have you been doing with your live account, and also with if you're trading demo with Forex as well?
yeah, as I said, I'm not trading live yet because I'm taking my time, but I trade demo accounts, and I've been like I started at mid December. Okay, let's say the first week of December, I started my demo account with just $10,000, and I've been doing consistently, 30 to 40% per week return, and something like, if I was not in your community, if I didn't, see all the students, I will say that I've reached success, because 40% per week, it's a lot. But because I see a lot of your best students and a lot of your members, like 40 to 50%, it's normal for us, for the communities. This
Praise,
is
right?
why,
Mhm.
this is why I dig more. I try to perfect my way. But just Wally, like as Wally said, if you have 30 to 40%, you're already in the 1%, people who trade
And
successfully for it.
okay, so immediately I'm trying to be from the perspective of somebody who doesn't know anything about WWA, and these kind of results are like, immediately the defense statement is, well, hedge funds are doing this, and financial institutions, banks, they're all doing 5 to 10% per year. How are some kids on the internet doing 30 to 50% per week? And okay, first of all, let's investigate that more. It's a demo account, which is completely fine, because as you just said, you've only been with us for a very short amount of time, since September. And in the grand scheme of things, you can't judge your progress after 6 months. Anything worthwhile in life takes years to master, be it from a student perspective of engineering or medicine or whatever, or a lawyer, or also if you want to just become good at art or good at music. Any facet in life takes time to develop that. So 6 months, less than 6 months into your journey with us, and you're doing this on a demo account consistently, that just knows when it comes to a live account, when it comes to FTMO account, when it comes to larger capital, whatever it may be. Obviously, there's going to be a bridge from demo to live that is expected. There's psychology that comes into it. There's greed, fear of missing out, expected. But you're in a great position now that you are so prepared to transition to that in the coming months or whenever you deem fit. So that account has been 30 to 40% per week. Has that been like, okay, 30% some week, and you've had a great, one or two really good trades, but then the rest have been negative, and then you're playing catch up with these big wins? Or how is
I
that
see. Yeah.
equity
Like
curve be?
I didn't have a losing week because of, obviously with the high risk reward. Some weeks I have more than 16 to 70%. Some weeks just 10 to 50%. But like I don't trade every day. Like just taking 3 to 4 trades per week. That's what like that's my limit. I could trade more, but
You're waiting
for
on prime
now,
setup.
yeah, I could. I just take
Oh,
prime setup. Now I started to backtest more on an intraday basis and taking, the hedge position. I was not taking the hedge position, like you taught us on, like post book
bootcamp.
camp calls. Just prime setup, just knowing your higher time frame structure, lower time frame confirmation, a few smart money concepts. We can do this. Like I didn't have a losing week. I don't remember having a losing week.
Excellent.
uh yeah, like that's something, you know
Okay, so again, you're in a position where you haven't been too long with us, but because of the work you've put in, you've started to thrive. But there's also students, I imagine, in the same bootcamp as you from September, who are still finding their footing. They're still working on it. They're still backtesting. Maybe they're okay. You have the luxury of being full time, so you don't have kids, you don't have homework deadlines or whatever it may be. So you can spend a lot of time backtesting. But for those people who are struggling within the community, who because they just don't have the time that you did, and therefore are behind in the progress that you've made, but they are still making progress, what advice would you give them to say, this is what I would recommend to speed up that the growth like you have had done for them with their busier schedule?
I like I don't think it's a problem like of time, but I think it's a problem of mindset, attitude, psychology. Because when I first started trading stock markets, I was really with I had this attitude of, I want to make money now. I want to backtest very quickly to make money. and I've made a mistake. I did lose a lot of money at the first, like the 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 the
Previous
first
years.
months of me trading. Yeah,
Okay,
and
actually, I want to, if it's not too personal,
yeah.
how is your, in terms of finances with trading, your first ever trading account, pre WWA, pre retail, like you've just entered the Forex or trading world. What did you first start with? What did you put into a first account?
I did have like something like FCMO. I had a challenge with an other
Proprietary.
firm, like
Mhm.
other firm specialized on US stock market, and I did pass the challenge. I did have the account. Just the way FTMO works. I lost the first account because of my psychology. I didn't know more like about psychology of markets and the accepting the uncertainty of the market. So a few months after I took my
Did you do
time,
many courses in this period? Did you buy a lot of courses online, or was it free YouTube videos, books, or what?
I did have a mentor. I did have a
Okay.
mentor. Like I do believe in every aspect of your life, whether relationship, fitness, your career. You having a mentor is gonna help you a
It
lot.
expedites. Yeah, I agree, because and I don't really believe that you should only have one mentor either, because as you said, there's so many skills you can learn from each person. If you can't find a direct mentor that can coach you, read a
Yeah.
book, watch a podcast, because if you're reading an autobiography of, let's say, Elon Musk, he has condensed his life lessons, his everything he's learned, the mistakes he's made, into a couple of 100 pages. So you can take all of that information and then on to the next. So again, I agree, very, very powerful. And that mentorship is people
It's
sometimes
just
have
because of
ego towards it, but
because of the leverage. It's because of the leverage. When you read a book or just watching a free YouTube video, like the majority of us, to not to be honest, the majority won't execute the things that we learn for free. So
why do you
having a
think that is?
mentor, yeah, having a mentor that you pay him, and then you have to be accountable for him.
Why do you think people don't appreciate or don't act upon the free things as much? If they found some information online or a YouTube video and there's good information in that, why do you think they don't have the results they're looking for?
Because of the leverage. They didn't pay, so they don't have the obligation to execute the trades.
Accountability, or yeah.
It's a matter of execution. All right, like there are a lot of information on the internet that we could execute and make a lot of money, or being very healthy, but we won't do this. Everyone knows that if we have, for example, if we eat on a caloric deficit, we will lose weight. But
Mm.
why a lot of people, like in America or something like that, a lot of people are obese, have this health problems because there is
Yeah,
no
if you have
leverage.
a coach who's in the gym with you, making you go to the gym, you're not going to skip a session. You're going to do the exercise you need to do, and yeah, the accountability aspect.
Yeah,
So
like having a
actually,
mentor is
let's dig
very,
into
very.
that, correlating it to the community, because the boot camp is a fixed amount of time. You have your 4 days plus the follow up sessions, and then you're thrown into the community. Now the community there's a lot of things going on. There's hundreds of charts from myself, Wally, and Alex. There's PDFs. Some of these PDFs students have sent in 100-page PDFs, and you can scroll for hours, and there's documents,
Yeah.
PDF, artwork, winning trades, which is at this point thousands of winning trades, 1 to 50, 1 to 100, massive trades, and those are losing trades. So when you come into the Discord and you're brand new, there is this plethora of things going on, and things for you to work on, community calls going on, chats going on, student-led calls. How did you find your experience in the community coming in, and what kind of things did you benefit from, and did you even find the community worthwhile?
Obviously, yeah. Like in the first month, like my first experience with backtesting, I wasn't backtesting like alone on my like just a direct relationship with me and the charts. I was backtesting your trades on the educator charts. I was trading, like I was backtesting on the charts that the community share on the backtest session, winning trades, losing trades. This is where I did first started on. And then your calls, the best, like your best students calls, they do a weekly call. uh, I can say that the concepts clicks for me on the first month, like first 2 months, because of the post bootcamp calls with you guys and with your best students. It did help me a lot. Like, yeah, the bootcamp was very, very, very. intense in terms of knowledge and information, but it took me 1 to 2 months to that the concepts clicked for me, just
Solidify,
because
yeah.
of the backtest session, the educator charts, your calls, and the best student calls. Like definitely the community have helped me a lot. I'm not too active on Discord, to be honest, because I'm the type of person who I love working privately, working silently. But like in the first, like in the next weeks, I will start to share my hundreds of pages of backtests with the people, because they have helped me a lot. So I can feel the obligation to help them for
I
the new.
like that aspect of you feel some sort of obligation or philanthropy that you want to help those that helped you or help those who have newly joined. But one
It's a
thing I will say,
really like it's a healthy relationship. I've made so many friends from
that's what I was
from the
about to say.
community. Yeah,
Like trading is supposed to be a lone sport. It's just you and the charts and how you're dealing with your psychology, and it's you versus the charts or you versus the markets. But what I think is so much more powerful, because the compounded effect is having an inner circle. And for me, is myself, Wally, and Alex, and pre WWA, before any of this mentorship, educator stuff came around, me, Wally, and Alex would sit on Zoom call every single day without fail for probably 9 months, and we do New York session together every day. And like you said, once you've marked up your trades and you have your execution or limits, whatever it may be, it takes less than an hour. Then you have the whole New York session to just sit. And that's when you
yeah,
back to share ideas, stress test different things, come across new concepts, research things, and start to apply it. And this is something I spoke about in the bootcamp, where if your strategy is something, let's say holy, and this is what you keep within your strategy, something you've tested, and this is what you're applying. If you're bringing something new into that or something foreign into that, you need to test it independently. And that's, as you said, post bootcamp, you tested each individual concept before bringing it together after the bootcamp. That
exactly.
trading circle was such a positive environment for me, and is the reason I am at the level of trade I am, and also the reason the other two are as well. So I say for the community, not only is it beneficial that you're helping others within the community, I would say for your own sake, when you're coming into the community and you find people that are of your level or maybe even higher, and now you're hopping on Zoom calls with them, and maybe it's just you and 2 or 3 other people, and you start doing calls with them every day, and you start texting them and sharing ideas, that inner circle, accountability, you're not going to be trading recklessly or with emotion, and they're going to be giving you feedback, giving you ideas. That is going to speed up your growth, and it seems like already you've grown so much in such a short period of time. So I'm
Yeah,
very
yeah.
excited to see how things proceed with yourself. But I do want to ask, what is your goals with stocks or forex, or with these kind of returns that you're already achieving? What's holding you back from going into a live account, and where would you like to be in 1 year from now?
Okay, so like this is just an idea. Okay, just my goal is to retire from stock market, because if I can do analysis, like if I can trade on Forex, just like setting limits and executing in 1 to 2 hours and making huge returns, like I could do this more on Forex and retire from stock trading. That's my goal, is to transition full time to Forex, uh, and keep learning more about this, keep refining more about this. I can make huge, like in terms of money, I can make more money with Forex than trading stocks, because of the obvious risk reward ratio. Yeah, that's it. That's my goal for now.
Awesome. And just to wrap up this call, because I don't want it to go on for too long, I value your time. What would you recommend? Oh, sorry. How would you evaluate and review your experience with WWA for somebody who's just come across WWA now through our YouTube channel or through Instagram or whatever it may be, and they're considering joining, or they're on the fence, or they're skeptical about these returns and rewards or testimonials? What would your advice to them be?
Like I was skeptical at first, but I did execute it. I did buy your boot camp anyways, and it turns out that that's my like the best investment I've made so far on my life. I've paid several mentors, you know, but this is one of the best investments I've made. Not because just of the knowledge, but because I know, like in my position, I know that you guys care more about the community, and compared to the price that I paid, I did receive more than that. The support from you guys, the one-on-one calls, like we are, I think on the community we are 400 now or 500.
I think
Like,
closer to 700 now at the moment. Yeah.
okay, 700, and doing one-on-one calls, like for each one of us for free. That's just insanity. And all the free stuff that you keep, posting for free, it's not, it's not included in the price, and you are doing it for free. That's insane. That's one of the best investments I've did, like, all my life. And I recommend every guy, just, or girl, every person in general, just, execute and
Awesome.
buy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is something I hear a lot, and I say it in the bootcamp as well. Um, Everybody has some sort of PTSD, some trauma from previous mentors. Maybe they paid them a large amount of money, they learned something they already knew, or they learned something they could have found on YouTube, or just learned trend lines and fibs, and they feel a bit frustrated. So when they come to WWA, they have that level of urgency or skepticism or fear because they're paying to do a boot camp, and they're wondering after the boot camp, are we going to disappear? What's going to happen? And not only for that reason do we give so much to the community, it's more so like this. The more work we put into the community, the more the community thrives. As you said, you did the bootcamp months ago. You've been back testing for months, but recently when you had your calls with Wally and Alex, that's when you had your breakthrough. And that's months after the bootcamp. And okay, as we said, for free. But the more we put in, the more we see you guys grow. And that for us is an asset, because once the community is at a level of us or beyond, which is what we want people to bring things to the table, they back to something or come across something and share with the community. And now we refine it together. And this is less than 1 year in. I just know in 2-3 years, when everybody is thriving like this and we're at such a powerful level, I know we'll be the #1 education company there, because nobody's at the level that we are at. So when the community is thriving like that, and there's over 1,000 students, and we're sharing ideas together, that's when things become interesting and powerful, not only for the community but for us too. Because now already it happens. I'll see somebody send in a chart and it'll be a phenomenal markup, and therefore becomes a trade idea for me because I didn't look at it. Or if
Yeah.
somebody catches a 1 to 50 risk to reward and I see it on the winning trade section and I didn't take a trade that day, that's for me room to improve. So through all of these aspects of community, has become an asset for us too, which is just the blessing of the community, and which is why we're happy to pour time into this. So but I'm
Like,
very
I,
happy to
I,
hear
I, I imagine, like, a year from now, we will be complaining about making just 100% per week. Like,
I noticed the way you worded it. It was like some weeks I was doing 70%, some weeks I was doing just 30. In my head, it's like just 30. Think about it. But no, Omar, thank you very much for your time, for coming on board
You're
today,
welcome. You're
sharing
welcome.
your experience. And it's the first time we've spoke properly one-on-one. I know you had calls with the others, but it's a pleasure to meet you. And I hope your testimony
Always
is
mine.
useful to the people that are watching. So thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the community
You're
Discord.
welcome. Okay, good.
Awesome.
Thank you.